Well, while Hugh's just rolling a cigarette, this seems like a good time to give a content warning for this particular project. There may be some effing and jeffing, some coarse language that the young ones might not want to hear.
Hey, Rob, they just like old friends. Old friends never tastes this good. I heard that.
A quick editor's note. Since we were using Skype and Skype's recording function, we appear to have lost the first minute and a half of audio. But we'll jump straight in to this very special episode with guest appearance from Jake Howard.
What did you think of the film on the whole, though?
I thought it was pretty awful.
What would you rate it? Do you know the rating? Do you remember from what the Rotten Tomato rating was?
I did read it briefly, yeah. If I give you an IMDb one, because that's what I'm more familiar with.
Yeah.
I think I would probably give it 3 out of 10.
3?
Yeah, because my reasoning is it basically dips below that barrier where it might just be that, certain people don't like it. So a 4 or 5 out of 10 might be an okay film if you don't mind some cheesiness or, maybe it's a bit old-fashioned or whatever. The 3 out of 10 is, bad.
It's just bad. It's the beginning of bad. Not terrible.
Not like Sharknado, so horrendously awful that it's gone full circle. I haven't just Sharknado, not my bag. But yeah, just pretty bad. And I think the reason is it's just really one-dimensional. It never really has any depth to it, and it feels like they've just filmed one scene after another on an attempt to follow the Hollywood story arc, but it doesn't really join up that well.
No, I know what you mean. It's quite a light-hearted film as well.
Yeah, apart from Eric, who's not light-hearted.
Which is almost like a saving grace. Yeah, perpetual scumbag, that guy.
I feel the bile in your voice there.
The guy, Eric's, he's just manipulative, and he's in it for himself, not his friends, not his friends on a sick road trip. He's just
cocky little
psychopath. And when it doesn't go his way, he cries about it, which no one likes.
They rock up to a rad party. He's like, alright guys, fan out, look for pros.
Yeah.
Not, let's enjoy this rad party.
Look for chicks.
Which is what everyone else does.
Jay, what do you think of the party scene? The bit where they have their little dance routine?
I had to watch most of that scene. Well, I didn't mind the dance routine, actually. I thought that was a bit of fun. But,
it's good, man, yeah.
But the bit up to that, where they're going out and behaving like recruiters and just, trying to network and so on, I almost had to hide behind my hand and watch it. It was so cringing.
It's just Eric that's networking, though, because Dustin is trying to hit on chicks.
Yeah.
Sweet Lou, I mean, come on. I mean, he is hitting on chicks.
Yeah, so Sweet Lou does his thing.
Yeah, Sweet Lou is great. Who's your favourite character?
I don't know, because on my first watching, I have to say I found Matt quite annoying.
Oh, yeah.
I think we both did, yeah.
I'd actually rather have him there for real, rather than watch it, if you know what I mean. I think it'd be quite a fun person to hang around, but watching it on screen, it just seemed really over the top.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that's the conclusion we came to. Then around the 5th watch, we were sort of like, Matt gives a lot of content to the film. He's an annoying guy.
He's the one-line gag generator.
Yeah. So what would you say he's your favourite character?
No, I don't think so. And Sweet Lou is kind of a bit of parody. Eric is the most annoying one out of the lot by far. Probably, I don't know, Eric's girlfriend's like the only normal person who's kind of level-headed.
That's probably a fair shout. And the only one whose nipples you can't see.
Exactly, yeah. They had to give her some credibility.
Did you notice all the nipples, Jake?
Well, I may have noticed a few here and there.
They are
in pause on any of them.
They are in abundance. Lots of nips going on.
So what do you guys think of the film now? So obviously I've said some fairly mean things and slated it. Where are you at on a star rating, and have you found hidden depth?
Good question.
No, it's awful. But we started off, the Rotten Tomato rating is 8%. So that's even worse than your rating.
8% is harsh. 8% really
Rotten Tomatoes
I gave it a
is
5.
super harsh.
5. Yeah, you initially
First
gave it a
year.
5. Yeah.
Hudson was like a 4. It went up to like a 6.5.
I went right up to a 6.5 like a crazy
peak.
bastard.
The first week.
Percent out of 100.
No,
out of 10.
6.5 out of 10.
Oh right, I was gonna say like that's even lower than my rating. Okay, yeah. Right. Yeah, but is that nostalgia?
I think a lot of that was we were still enjoying the film. This was around the episode we dropped today, episode 7. I said in that episode, oh yeah, 6.5. I've retracted that a bit now. Quite a bit.
That's the thing. I think I certainly see through all the flaws and all the goddamn duct tape holding this film together.
I'm not sure I would have noticed if you hadn't pointed it all out, but yeah.
So you watch it every day, Jake. You need to look for new sources of entertainment from the same. As you said, like one-dimensional.
Yeah, as you did say, we have been trying our hardest to look for some sort of depth, some sort of backstory.
Yeah,
that we
come
can
up with like a fan theory that like string it all together better, but there's just nothing.
And then
They don't give you anything.
Yeah, it all flops because there's nothing to read into. We try.
We've gotten to the stage where we just like laugh at the extras. Like we noticed maybe last year and the year before when the guys doing that little skate demo and the Wiggers are in the crowd and the girl that stole their van, the Wham Bam Steal the Van lady, she's being chatted up by the Wiggers.
Yeah.
And just to her left there's like some like middle-aged Asian lady just like laughing at the Wiggers.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's funny.
And to the right of them is like some weird like Jehovah's Witness just like talking to herself, like quoting the Bible or something.
Yeah. Quoting the Bible.
I was thinking it would be worth pausing loads of scenes where there's quite a lot of detail for that reason. So, you know, if you're like in someone's bedroom or in the skate shop and it looks at a shelf or there are stickers on the wall or whatever, there's probably some gems hidden in there.
Trust us, Jake, there's no need to pause after 19 viewings, my friend. We've seen it all.
It's photographic memory.
One of us like, sees a bit. We're like, I'll show you tomorrow. And the next day, it's like, oh yeah, that's that bit that I noticed. And the last thing, that dude's hair as well.
Oh, we'll send you a picture, Jake. You might have missed it. Send it now. It is the most outrageous hair you have ever seen in your life. He's probably my favourite extra because of it. Just a little side note. You know Wham Bam Steal the Van?
Yeah.
She is a former playmate, whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not surprised.
So I've done my due diligence.
To do the research.
Like, hot girls in the film as well.
Yeah.
Hottest girl in the film, Jake.
There is an abundance of hot girls though.
Okay, what am I looking at? Oh my god.
Describe it for the people, Jake.
It's a cross between Tekken.
Yeah.
Some sort of androgynous LaRue weird 80s pop hairstyle.
It is the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen, though.
If I get my shit together, I'll put this in the YouTube video. I'll at least put in a picture of this.
We'll drop it on the Instagram when we drop this episode as well.
Just have it for the thumbnail.
Pictures. I love the splash screen for the podcast, the Chili and Such Employee of the Month.
Oh, yeah, that was a touch of genius from Theo.
It really reminded me of, have you seen Office Space?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
And I was really hoping it'd have a similar vibe to that, and that is a cult classic. I'd watch that 90 times.
I would watch more Chili and Such. I think the Chili and Such bit is my favourite scene.
Yeah.
It's got the great manager guy, the customer, that tall stand-up guy.
I ordered a tummy killer ranchero, and I got a double chunk gut bomb with cheese by mistake. I'm sorry, I'd like what I ordered.
Yeah, I could just watch that, like a mockumentary style.
That would be a good film. Yeah, I think that would be a good film, actually. It would be quite funny as well, wouldn't it? Which something this film lacks. Jake, a solid favourite of mine are the Wiggers. What do you think of them?
So I really don't like them. And then at the end, when they're like, respect, I was thinking, I don't want your respect. Because normally that
featuring himself on the vert, and he was like, "No, I don't need your respect."
Because normally, right, that's the classic Hollywood story arc.
Sure.
Is that you know, in the feel good ones anyway. There's the bad guys over there, but they're kind of cool, except they're not cool at all.
No,
they're just deranged, weird people that need to grow up. You think, oh, we're mates now, and actually that filled me not with a sense of resolution, but actually a sense of dread that if you see them in the parking lot, you'd have to wave at them and be nice, but actually you'd just rather not have anything to do
not
with
even see them. I think that's the problem with like the lack of character development they go through. They're just like, they're a pretty funny gimmick at first. Like, it's a pretty funny gag. It's like, oh, who are these guys? But they have so much screen time that it seems a shame that they don't go any deeper.
And the fact that one
actually building or like actually giving them any depth, because they just stay like a sketch for the whole thing.
because you're like, oh, you've got a personality, so I can empathise with you now, and I can understand why you're a retard.
You have to dick the whole time.
Yeah.
I think it's not helped by the fact that one of them doesn't say anything throughout the whole film, so it's not even like a 4-on-4. It's just 3 and a hanger-on versus 4.
To be fair, Sweet Lou is
in those scenes.
He's only like half an actor.
I have to disagree with you two. I think those guys are hilarious. I think they bring a lot of hilarity to the film.
They're good gags, but they just don't do anything with the characters. They just keep it as like gags.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying. I think the gags are worth it though.
So funny. Super duper bitches.
Yeah. I like the gags. What can I say?
That's what kept us going for so long, though. Because there are some good gags.
Yeah. We really fell off a cliff yesterday, struggling towards the end.
Yeah.
And as soon as the film finishes, we're out of there. Just like get us out.
It's like a work day.
Yeah, exactly.
Punch out and leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you enjoy it at first, and then you're like
hovering your punch card over the checkout, like 4.59.
You realise this is the rest of your life, and actually, it's not so much fun after all.
Oh god. Yeah.
Do you do it sans intoxication, or do you have a few beers to lubricate the whole experience?
We've been lubricating ourselves. We're a well-oiled machine at the moment. Not right now, but in general, we have been a well-oiled machine.
This would be our second teetotal episode.
I've been teetotal a few times.
And what's the difference between them?
Oh yeah, both of us teetotal. Yeah.
And how do you feel when you're sober, and how about when you've had a few beers? Does it massively change the experience in terms of board?
I don't know. I only listened to the podcast once when I'm editing it, and I never really listened to it again. So when we get positive feedback on particular episodes, I'm never sure. I don't know what.
I meant when you're watching the film in particular. Like, does it change? Or?
No, not when you've seen it more than 5 times, which we have. I don't think it changes it at all. I don't think it changes the viewing. I don't think it gives us any sort of extra flow when we do the podcast. That's how I feel. I don't think it...
I reckon it makes the viewing easier.
Do you think?
Oh, God, yeah.
Numbs the pain.
Well, yesterday we had a fair few Friday night beers before watching it, and it didn't help, Theo. It was painful. We were drinking away the pain.
Yeah, exactly. But it felt like it was a quicker experience than today, for example. Maybe it's because today is so fresh.
I knew today was going to be tough. So hard.
Like such a nice, beautiful day. You just want to kick it in the garden, not fucking watch crime.
Yeah. I think you've just summed it up perfectly.
Bear in mind that I've only listened up to number 6, I think. Did you post 7 today?
Yeah, only just an hour or so ago, 2 hours ago.
We're doing 19 right now, are we, or 20?
19.
Yeah, so obviously I don't know what you said in the previous ones, but the continuity errors I thought were quite funny. And the milkshake.
How many did you notice on having only one watch?
Yeah.
A lot of inattentive viewers may have had it go right over their heads. How many did you notice?
Off the top of my head, I can only remember the milkshake one right now, and I was looking out for it because you said it, but I think the continuity might be worse than the milkshake on the screen. And I didn't rewind it or anything, but I'm fairly sure the van is on a completely different road. It's like they go onto a racetrack where they've laid out some cones or something.
Yeah.
It's a completely different part of the world.
Yeah, really strange, really weird.
It's another one that we picked up on, which is just before that tyre blows out.
Wham bam, steal the van.
They're driving through like some really nice green, lush residential area.
Yeah.
Then the tyre explodes, and they're just in the fucking middle of a desert.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that. Although
that was only a recent pickup.
That was quite a sly pickup. Yeah.
Real expert, in-depth knowledge.
Were there, and what other ones were there? Do you remember?
Oh God,
There's
countless.
Been so many of them.
They've been so few. The film's so good.
Such a tight plot.
absolutely countless ones with their skateboards, so their decks are just completely different, scene to scene, literally, cut to cut. Completely different shoes, completely different.
One I picked up on today was Jamie's doing her little skate bit. She drops in on a quarter pipe, and then it cuts. Then she does board slide on like this rail.
Yeah.
But that rail is maybe 15 meters to the left of where she dropped in from, and there's a bank like right in front of it where she would have rolled in from to actually hit the rail.
Yeah.
It's just like stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think
full of it.
If the director isn't a skateboarder, then that is exactly the kind of detail that they're not going to care about. They think a skateboard's a skateboard, and obviously, if you've got an eye for it, it's going to really tear you up to watch it. I didn't notice any of that. Really.
What did you think of the skateboarding in the film? Are you like impressed? Are you happy with it?
And it's a funny one, isn't it? Because if you think about it on an absolute level, obviously it's really, really good skateboarding. But everyone's desensitized now to high quality sport because we see so much of it that it's like, yeah, whatever. It's just more skateboarding. But obviously, yeah, it's amazing. But the one thing I would say about it is that it didn't make me want to go and skate at all. It just wasn't inspiring. And normally when I watch extreme sports videos, I just want to get out and try it out myself.
It makes you want to pick up, like a snowboard or a skateboard. Or
exactly,
a bike. And this just doesn't, not at all. Yeah.
One tiny bit.
Considered that because we were both into skateboarding when we started watching it. So it was the skateboarding that took us to the film rather than the film trying to take us anywhere else.
It makes me want to put on my 50 Cent gear and drive around shouting "Booyah!" at everybody.
Makes me want to steal a van.
Yeah. It makes me want to be Sweet Lou.
It makes me want to be total slut.
Jay, so we've had like your favourite bit, which was Wham Bam Steal the Van, which is a solid favourite. What would you say is your absolute worst bit?
The rest of the film.
I know that's a hard question. I
think it's quite near the beginning where Eric's skating up to the shop and then he picks up his skateboard.
Yeah.
Like I would pick up a skateboard.
Yeah.
So he might as well bend down and kneel on one knee to
It doesn't do the fact it's supposed to be a skateboarding film. They haven't done their homework, have they?
No, I mean, in that kind of flow, you can't just pick that up overnight. Obviously, like you could probably not fall off to skate into the side of the scene or into the shot or whatever. But that kind of fluency with the board, I guess you actually have to be good at skating. But yeah, it just looks so newbie, it's unreal, and it really just immediately takes the edge off. Where you're like, oh, this is shit.
It's
every time they try to cut like the actors in with the stunt skaters, it's just always so jarring. Like they all like change body shape and size, and it's like, oh, their hair's gone from like being really fake and polystyrene.
When you get to see it, right? Because the rest of the time it's just their ankles. So
yeah.
Easy way to solve continuity.
Yeah.
It's painful watching them carry the skateboards as well, like really uncomfortably. Like they like prancing around, like, touching the tip. It's like that can't be comfortable.
Oh, that's.
Well, maybe it's comfortable in some circumstances, but not holding a skateboard. God damn it.
I'm touching the tip.
What you got?
Times.
How's it going?
Yeah.
In big bad London, how's the isolation going?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, the whole world has changed. Feels like one of those Resident Evil apocalypse films sometimes when you go out. It's just eerily quiet.
Pub's closed.
I'm quite lucky around where I am. Battersea Park is still open, but
nice.
I don't go there as much as I used to because it is getting a bit too crowded, so I just go outside it, like around it, sometimes not even in it. I think I'm used to it now. This feels normal, which is weird.
Yeah, humans are remarkably adaptive.
Doesn't take long, does it?
Yeah, just be like, okay, well, we're all inside now.
Yeah.
I'm running quite a lot, which is nice. Probably more than I would be otherwise. And then the rest of the time I just sit around at home.
I wonder how much this kind of idea of social distancing and hyper kind of germ awareness and cleanliness will have a lasting impact on like our culture.
I was thinking about that.
Same, yeah.
How much do you think people are just going to be staying indoors? So like, is something like a club just a complete faux pas? Obviously, right now it is, but
I think there are two ways of looking at it. One is if you imagine people that lived through the war they're going to have certain sensitivities to certain things that probably stayed with them for a lifetime. And I can't think of an example, but it's just kind of an unconscious bias that they will pick up. And that's one thing. It might be our generation is a little bit phobic of touching things and not washing our hands and going into crowded places for a long time and so on. And it will take a few generations for it to go back to inverted commas normal. The other way of looking at it is the complete reverse of what's happened to us this time, which is people will be a little bit wary for a couple of weeks and then we'll just slot straight back into the rut that we were in.
Do you think?
Which I think is...
Enough people just need to behave badly to have it like that, you know? If enough people just don't give a shit, and plenty of people don't, you see the amount of people that... It is quieting down a bit now.
No, surprised or wisely that people don't seem to just take the most basic precautions sometimes.
Yeah, people aren't taking social distancing seriously at all, are they?
In the shop, I have we have these plastic protective visors that like go right down over the face.
Yeah.
Which is like horrible and hot and uncomfortable. And people will still come up to you, literally just like walk up behind you and start rummaging around with like a shelf. It's like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
And wait for you, which is fine, but you could have given me like a bit of warning. It's like, oh, do you mind if I just get in there? Not, oh, hello.
Yes, hello.
Can you help me?
Give you a little kiss on the cheek.
I don't think it's particularly malicious. I think some people it's malicious.
Oh,
they're like, oh, you know, you're not going to tell me what to do types. But for others, I think it's so automatic how you behave around people that they're just not thinking.
I think it's also, people tend to assume most people are like them. I'll put my citations in the footnotes. So it's very, like, when you don't really... if you think it's a bit of a hoo-ha about nothing, and you go out, you're going to carry yourself like that, you're just going to kind of assume that everyone's like that, and pretty people being too polite to be like...
And it is a hard one to judge. This is obviously unprecedented, so if one person might think that they're taking adequate precautions, but then there'll be someone at the other end of the spectrum who thinks that they're insane. So I've seen people walking around with, like, homemade PPE. I think like it's not a nuclear fallout, you know. It's not that bad. Just stay away from people. That's what we need to do.
Gloves and face mask and
So once you got your swimming goggles
and then
on,
all these people wearing that stuff in like Waitrose, and then still coming up this close to you.
Yeah,
it's like what are you doing? And they're wearing like their marigolds on their hand. It's like you idiot.
And then touching their faces anyway. It just makes no difference.
Yeah, god damn. Jake, can I ask you a quick question about the film again? Something I've just thought of. Do you think after listening to the podcast, did you feel like you had to watch the film to sort of have an understanding of what was going on? Or do you think they both carry themselves independently?
No, I didn't feel I had to, actually.
That's good. That's what I want to hear. But...
Yeah. So I started listening to the podcast and really enjoyed it, and I thought, oh, this is good. This is funny. And
got nothing else to fucking do, so I watched the film.
Well, yeah, that's a part of it.
You realise that you'd rather do anything than watch that film.
Yeah, literally do nothing.
You could have bumped up some of the views on our YouTube account instead of watching the film.
Write a little bot that can.
Yeah. Cut that bit, but do that. But cut that.
I'll get right on it. Yeah, and then almost thought, I'll listen to the whole thing, 90 days worth. Is that it? The challenge is 90 days, right?
Well,
that was You'll never reach the moon if you don't aim for the stars, Jake.
Yeah. That Club 7.
That we've, after some serious reflection and
discussion,
advice from our doctors,
meetings,
we decided 31
a month.
Do the run.
Yeah.
So that's a full month. No one can argue on that, despite the fact it spans 2.
Well, I'm disappointed that I won't be able to see you turn truly insane. I think we'll be able to tolerate a month without actually losing it.
Don't say that, Jake. We'll have to go back to 90, goddammit.
Yeah.
You should be like, a month's definitely enough.
Let's call it 60, see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, so I was thinking I'd listen to all of the episodes that you guys did and maybe watch it at the end, because it'd be so funny to just hear so much about this thing that I'd never seen. And then
a couple at once.
4 or something, I thought, let's just see what this is all about. And curiosity got the better of me.
I wonder how well we paint the picture. I wonder if some people have watched the film and be like, what are these guys talking about? They're just quoting random bits to talking gibberish.
What's this garbage?
It definitely coloured my interpretation of it, and both for good and for bad, I think. Because in some ways you set it up to be shit, so I went in thinking it'd be shit. But from another point of view, it was so shit that if it weren't for you guys talking about it, I think I would have just ejected after about 15 minutes anyway.
What was that? Sorry, ejaculated after 15 minutes. I'm surprised you made it that far.
Matt's sister what?
Who? Nah, I never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you sit down and watch the film? I think you said earlier you watched the film with your girlfriend, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Did she absolutely hate it?
I can-
Like no,
I
like
can
love for
imagine
it at all.
she would despise it.
Yeah, not even as a joke. Like, was genuinely disappointed that we wasted that much time watching it.
Oh man,
Didn't see the funny side.
Theo and I have, what should I say? The film is about 15 minutes too long, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you know the clown college scene that needs to be cut.
Party scene could be cut.
We'll talk about that off air. It is just that little bit too long, I think, which doesn't help for the viewing pleasure of the film.
Yeah.
So yeah, by compared to itself, as it were, yes. Luckily, films those days weren't as long as they are now, because most films are north of 2 hours nowadays, aren't they?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of the kind of like, I guess
44.
kids films, animated films, are like an hour 10 to an hour and a half.
Which I think is quite a good length for a movie.
It's not bad. It doesn't get too grinding.
Although, yeah, obviously there's certain types of film that would just you'd not get the depth or the resolution that you wanted in that time period, which I guess is why they got so long now. But it does feel like a huge time commitment to watch a film now, where it didn't used to. You watch Commando twice.
We'll give you a little teaser. Series 2 is The Irishman. We're going to watch that every day for 31 days.
3 hours?
3.5 hours. We're not going to do that.
You won't have the time. You simply wouldn't have the time, but would you?
Barely have the time for this.
I would say we're pushing it for time.
It's
at the
what, an hour
moment
and 40?
sometimes, yeah.
Have you had that moment where you've added up the time and just realised how big a commitment that you've made?
You've done some mental
Yeah.
arithmetic, haven't you?
From memory, it's by the time we're done with this, we're going to have watched it 31 days. We would have spent 72 and a half hours
Ouch!
of our life watching Grind.
Wowzers!
Yeah, so it's interesting, isn't it, to think of what you could do with that time.
Yeah.
Well, that's in reality probably fuck all.
Yeah, that's the saving grace, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
the thing.
At least we get some beauty out of madness. We get to produce something, create something.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, the challenge without the podcast would be that would affect my mental health if I tried to do that. The fact that it's the podcast makes it all worthwhile, I think.
I think it's
I think
a
that's
release for it. It's like a vent. It's an emotional vent at the end of it.
I think if we just did the challenge, we would have got to day like 3 and be like, "What are we doing?" If we weren't doing the podcast, we'd be like, "Hold on, yeah, hold on."
We're missing something here.
I think after the first day, we'd be like, "Good challenge, like let's move on." Yeah. Oh dear.
So have you had any other guests then?
No, you're the first. The actor that plays Sweet Lou, Joey Kern, Hudson messaged him,
Yeah.
and we got him back, being like,
Shall I read it to
having
you?
like an interview potentially.
Yeah, sweet.
So that would be mad. But he's gone a bit cool. We replied to that. He's gone a bit. He's gone dark on us.
Throwing shade. No, he's not throwing shade, but ghosting, I think.
It's because we need to get the old bot on YouTube getting those likes up.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah.
He's like, 9 likes? I'm not
We've both realised how rubbish we are at social media.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad.
Like, we're both struggling to... It took us like 5 posts in before I asked Hudson if he put any hashtags on the posts. And he was like, no.
And I was like, a couple of days before, I'll be like, "Oh, you're doing all the editing, bro. Like, good work. I'll be the social media manager, and I can like barely use Instagram."
As soon as we backed some hashtags on there, we got like 6 likes within an hour.
Yeah, and I was like, "Lee." I was like, "This is why we haven't been sponsored yet. I'm an idiot."
But I've got nothing beyond hashtags. I don't know how to take this project any further.
No, it's difficult. The promoting yourself in this form, gaining a following by doing a podcast is a really weird sort of space to be in. I think it's
Yeah, maybe because it's done on like an RSS thread system. It's not centralized, so there's no one place where you can like build a podcast community.
Yeah, maybe
Apple
YouTube's probably the closest, isn't it?
To an extent, but it's nice to get the episodes on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, it's way better for the listener.
Oh yeah, exactly. You can pause,
Fucking
do timers,
upload it.
and
I can turn the screen off.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Big win. I can put it in my pocket. Oh yeah, for sure. I just meant the community. The closest to a centralised community is probably YouTube.
Yeah, but then YouTube's pretty jankety for that.
Yeah.
I might have to try and learn Reddit.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool if you get into it. I never did, but
I tried once and I just couldn't quite do it. I can't do that.
Is Reddit like the big forum where you post like a subject and everyone sort of posts back and talks about it? Is that Reddit?
yeah, it's like a threads on a. You make a post and then it'll be a thread.
Yeah. So I'm the social media manager. What the hell's Reddit?
And Reddit what?
Yeah.
Where are you reading these things?
So what did this guy say? Have you got the response?
Yes, I have. So he said, so we just introduced ourselves, what we're doing, how we'd like to have him on the show. And he said, this sounds like a crazy endeavour. I'd love it. Let me know what you'd like me to do. I could do an interview or just send you some answers to written questions. Up to you. Stay safe, Joey. Which is a really cool response, man. Cool for him getting back to us, I think. And then Theo and I sort of discussed it and we were like, oh, a Skype interview would be great.
Yeah.
And he hasn't gotten back to us.
Yeah. So, I don't know, hopefully. It took him a few days.
It took him a few days,
We're just a couple of randos. So I wouldn't blame him for not.
Maybe going in on the Skype was a bit strong.
I don't know, he said he's just...
You've got to shoot for the stars.
He's just an interview, it's the easiest way to do it. So.
Yeah.
I mean, Jake gets Skype. Fucking Joey Cohn can get Skype as well.
Yeah, I mean, for a podcast, obviously, it's best if you had a website or something. You're a newspaper website, then that written thing works okay-ish. But yeah, it's not going to work for the podcast, is it?
But maybe just like listen to some of the episodes and I was like, fuck this.
Yeah, like these guys, man. Why would I want to talk to these guys?
I don't know, I think you guys are pretty funny.
But I think in the first episode,
we slammed the movie pretty hard.
I think we slammed their careers as well. We were like, I don't think we've seen any of them in anything else.
Oops. I don't know. You could take that a lot of ways, though, can you? It might just be you haven't happened to see their Oscar-winning performance in God knows what.
Afternoon in particular, which
I like to think it's quite like British offhandedness sort of comments. I'm not sure the Yanks would get it, you know, because in the message we're like, "Oh, you're our favourite character," but we're constantly taking the piss out of the film.
If he gets to episode like 4 or 5, he'll hear all our love, Sweet Lou.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we're hating on Eric yet at that point. Oh, we probably are.
I think we are.
There's one episode where you had a slightly more generous interpretation where you're like, oh, I don't know, I was just in a bad mood, and then you were back to hating it. So I was wondering, have you managed to have time to watch any other films at all, or music or anything like that?
So like in the middle of the night, I've chucked on a film here and there. Nowhere near as much as I would normally be. I think the first week when it was all new and full on, I didn't have time to do anything else. Like watch any other films.
Yeah, music still there here and there. Bit of YouTube. Haven't watched TV or any other films this whole time.
I'm worried we're addicted to grind. Even though we're saying we hate it, we, after episode 31, we're still like
a couple of heroin addicts.
Yeah.
Lost at sea.
We need it.
Day 32, you just won't know what to do with yourself. You just start scratching, shaking.
It's like, fuck you, watch it. Watch it.
Like, I can stop watching it whenever I like. I just want to watch it.
Just one last watch. For old time's sake.
So yeah, we'll see what happens with the 31 episodes. But then we were going to do a series 2 after that, weren't we?
Yeah, but definitely, I want like a week off at least.
Yeah, a bit of time off,
and then maybe switch up to another film.
Yeah, so what are the options for? I mean,
we've discussed it a little bit.
Yeah, we've had a couple of thoughts. I think a strong one is the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Yeah.
Oh God. Maybe.
I'm
not sure I've seen it, but
it's a great film, man.
I think that could send you insane.
Yeah,
I think that would do more to send us insane. Like these two.
It's also
outlandish. A sponge and a goddamn
starfish.
It's already sent me insane.
It's also a genuinely much funnier film than Grind.
Yeah, but yeah. I accept that.
But that could also mean the gags are going to wear thinner quicker. Because Grimes is bad all round, so it's like, a good gag is a saving grace, whereas SpongeBob's just good gags, so...
I think the SpongeBob is another one we used to watch a lot, especially I used to watch a lot. I liked the idea of chucking ourselves into the deep end, just picking a random film
We've never seen or something.
that we've never seen, and just going from there. Like, maybe quite a well-known film. Maybe not, though. I don't know. It's tough.
But we're also heavily considering length now when we're selecting our films.
So a cult classic would potentially get you an immediate social media following straight away, because then people are actually interested in that thing of its own right. So if you watch Pulp Fiction or something, there are millions of people out there who know what it is and are interested.
How long's Pulp Fiction though? Like 2 hours?
2.5 hours.
I have no idea, yeah. I'll tell you a good one though. It might be too long, but With Nell and I, that is a fantastic film.
I've never heard of it. What genre?
Really fucking weird, British.
I think another saving grace is we chose a comedy film that is, to all intents and purposes, light-hearted, and I think if we went for a serious film with serious consequences, it would be a far more depressing sort of...
I don't think you'd have to take it seriously. And With Nell and I is not a serious film in a lot of ways. And it's hilarious. Maybe Life of Brian, because that is just so funny.
Theo said that. I haven't really seen that properly.
I think that humour would get to me quite quickly. It's funny. When you're in the mood on the right occasion, it's brilliant. Like,
I watch it like once every 6 years or something.
Yeah, and it's perfect. It's just absolutely hilarious. But
we could,
those gags would get fucking...
I tried watching it once when I was really young and just didn't get it. So it would be like a new watch for me. We could do like episodes where we discuss the inaccuracies. We read the Bible and discuss how inaccurate it was. Episode 1.
You get people knocking on the door and shouting at you, throwing things through the window.
Throwing holy water at us.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Is it the Budapest Hotel?
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Was that comedy?
I haven't seen that one.
That weird one?
Just Googling it.
I think I might be thinking of something else.
I think that came out... it's quite recent. Well, like within the last 10...
Ray Fiennes.
Yes, the Grand Budapest Hotel. What's the runtime?
It is, wait for it, I guess a very healthy 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb. That's 1 hour and 39 minutes.
So it's 2 minutes shorter. Oh, that's a fucking hilarious film. I think that might be a good one.
Okay, I haven't seen that, yeah.
And it's 15, so we're stuck with childish, inane...
Another thing Theo and I have said is if Grind was like a 15, they'd be able to work with the comedy and the girls and the sexual
skater lifestyle
and the skater lifestyle of partying and things like that. They'd have so much more play with that.
Yeah.
We understand.
Was it a 12A or something?
Yeah.
Because no one who's older than that was going to watch it. That's why they realised after the fact, they were like, shit, we're going to have to bring the age down.
Maybe that's why there's no backstory, because it was intentionally a 15, and then they were just like, oh god, this is too deep.
Strip it all back, start again.
Yeah, in the end, Sweet Lou kills himself from being in the circus. No, that's deep, man.
Couldn't take the pull my finger gag anymore.
Oh god. Yeah, Jake, what do you think about Sweet Lou joining the circus, man? That's some weak story arc, isn't it?
Yeah, that is seriously weak.
It just goes towards the lack of development. They literally just, this would be a nifty character turn, but they don't set it up well, they don't execute it well, and it has no payoff apart from he's not there to get sponsored. Yeah. Like, Sweet Lou doesn't get to go on tour.
Yeah.
He's fucking circus.
Because he found... you can imagine taking that from another film as a concept and someone following love over money and it being a really beautiful moment, but in this it's just random, poorly executed, as you say. There's no proper development of the character, so you don't care.
Yeah,
and Sweet Lou in a circus.
Yeah, Sweet Lou.
Sweet Lou.
Sweet Lou singer.
He ain't no clown. Did you get... I don't mean to insult your intelligence at all. Did you get the, he's sort of based on like a Matthew McConaughey sort of southern sort of ladies man? Did you...
So I heard you talking about that. I don't know who Matthew McConaughey is.
And... Oh, no, nor did you. Yeah, no. Maybe he's not as well known as I thought.
Yeah.
Who is he? What's he in?
He's in Dallas Buyers Club. He's the main guy in that.
How do you spell his name? I'm Googling him now.
Oh, Jesus, man. No. You're insulting my intelligence now, you dick.
We can edit that bit out, can't we? I'm gonna just write some random shit. There you go. Well, it's fucking hard to spell. McConaughey. There you go. He looks old now. 50 years old. So how much material do you usually record to get to your 20 minutes out of podcast?
I think our longest one so far is like half an hour.
Yeah.
That longest final product.
Yeah.
And what was the raw input for that?
Maybe 40 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
It really depends. Some of it is literally me just cleaning up all the ahs, beer cans being picked up and put down, and inhaling cigarettes. Like the amount out is awful. So then I'd maybe only lose like a few minutes. Sometimes I go off on a rant where I'm like, I don't really want this on the internet. So I got about 8 minutes from that episode.
Is this your first podcast experience? Have you ever
Yeah,
been on
it is. It's the first time I've been on anything like this. And thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
You got any recommendations for the people? What's some of your favourite podcasts?
Ooh, so there are a few Joe Rogan Experience ones that are absolute gems. So if you don't know who that is, check him out.
But he's strong competition. He's number 1 in the podcast game, right?
Yeah.
So we're number 2, so we've just got a little bit more work.
100,360.
Actually, yeah, I've never found a series I've liked. People have recommended episodes to me of certain things. I can't remember.
Okay. There's some really good stuff out there. My catalogue that I listen to isn't. I just have a few that I really like and are just completely loyal to them.
Otherwise, you spend so much fucking time. It's a shame to know how many great podcasts must be out there that I'd love, but I barely have time to listen to the ones I follow. So
I don't think Apple does a good job of being like browse this and have a good look and.
I think with the top stuff, they have like topping category and this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
so
yeah. We're on there. No, we're not.
Amateur-based podcast in North Homewood. We're number 2 and number 6.